Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the AC Milan against Genoa match review. Match that finished moments ago at the San Siro. 1-0 the final scoreline. Goal scored by Fernandez for Milan. Quite unexpected, but he did get the goal. And these are three vital points here for Milan today after Inter dropped 2 points of their own earlier in the day when they tied against Torino 2-2. And once again, the race for the Europa League is fully opened and we are still fighting more than ever. We have momentarily passed Atalanta in the standings. We are 2 points behind Inter at the moment. And Lazio as well. I think we're only 3 points behind them. So they still have to play tomorrow against Cagliari. But it's good to see that we got off to a very good winning start this week. Next weekend is the international break. Therefore, there is a little break in between there. But this is definitely a very good answer in terms of what we were capable of showing today. This win speaks a lot more than just the result itself and the 3 points. And I'm saying this because after all the controversies that we obviously were submitted to last weekend when we faced Juventus, all the talks, all the conflicts going on between Milan, the media, and so forth, we have responded with a winning result. I think to me, that matters the most. That is a very good thing that we needed to do in order to hit back at those critics that Milan, all they do is complain. We are not only made of that, we complain for the right reasons. Like today, we saw many injustices being made by the referee, which should be spoken about even when we do win games, because at times there's people that say, oh, you're only speaking about these injustices because you lost the game. That is not true, because today we won the game, yet the referee wasn't the best of referees. De Sciglio there with a yellow card that I think was absolutely absurd. To get a yellow card for winning the ball like that, I could understand the intention of the whole process, but to get a yellow card in that manner, Camille Russo, what was he thinking? And to say other fouls, to think about other fouls that were as well or even worse than what De Sciglio showed today in that first half from Genoa, went unbooked and went really with a warning. And personally, I don't believe you can get away with such fouls. But anyways, at the end of the story, at the end of the day, we won the match. But these are little things that we should point out even when we win games. Let's speak about the team performance, because yes, we did pick up the 3 points. We played a good game generally. We didn't really have many problems against Genoa. I was predicting way more from Genoa. I thought they were going to be more of a threat following that 3-0 defeat to their hands back last year in October. But it really wasn't the case. It was really a much easier game than that one, a much easier task. Obviously, Genoa don't have the same objectives that they had 5 months ago. Obviously, they don't have the same will, the same intentions of playing as hard as they did back then. But still, to win something for the fans, before this game, they had only won 2 games out of the last 15. And it's still something that, is quite worrying to see. So you wanted to give the fans something to cheer about. But once again, Milan were the spoilers to the party. We won the game, we got the 3 points. But let's speak about the players in particular. Starting off with Donnarumma, really he had not much to do today. It was actually quite an easy game for him. Besides a few easy pickings, it was a much easier task than what we seen Donnarumma do last weekend against Juventus, when he was faced with 10 to 12 shots and yet to make very big saves. So Donnarumma, it was a field day for him, not much to do, gains a clean sheet, and that's the end of the day for him. As for De Sciglio, did very good defensively today. I was very impressed with what he did. Going forward, it wasn't the best from De Sciglio, but I could see him growing in that second half, to a point in which he almost scored his first career goal with Milan. A beautiful header. Really, he was unmarked. He could have got off into that score sheet. But, at the end of the day, that header went just inches wide, and it could have really been a big day for De Sciglio. Other than that, very good performance defensively, so I'm impressed with that. Zapata as well did okay defensively, but what I was really surprised with Zapata today was him moving forward. And what I mean by that, many times you see him making runs with that ball, moving it past that middle, and he almost reached the final third with the ball as a center back. To me, that was really surprising. Not quite sure what Zapata was thinking today, but thank God when he was doing those movements, there was always someone to cover him defensively so that we wouldn't be odd numbered. We wouldn't be lacking defensively whenever he decided to contribute to the attack. Paletta, once again, solid performance by him. I think he did a good job. Not many worries to think about. Got the job done. And like Zapata, not much to say in terms of bad things that he did today. Vanjoni, very good performance. I really liked what he did today. Impeccable in my eyes. I think he won almost every tackle. He did very, very good. Even moving forward, he did good things. And here's an interesting statistic in terms of when Vanjoni plays. They keep on staying unbeaten, Milan. They really, avoid defeat every time Vanjoni plays. Last weekend, Vanjoni didn't play. We lost. The games before that, Vanjoni played. We either won or tied. And Vanjoni is becoming better and better as the weeks go by. And even though Antonelli did make an appearance later on, I still think that, Montella has something to decide here, whether or not Vanjoni or Antonelli should be playing. Let's move on to the midfield, where we saw Kuchka, Bertolacci, and Matti Fernandez all start today. Bertolacci, unfortunately, not a very good day for him. After a minute or so of the game, he got injured, and he was forced to get out on a substitution, and Locatelli replaced him. Locatelli, he wasn't fully fit to play in this match. We heard it. We heard Montella say it in the press conference before. We said that Locatelli was 100% fit, but to me, he seemed more fit than not fit in this game. And what I mean by that is that when he came into the game, he showed his attributes. He was capable of composing himself defensively and offensively, had a few decent tries from outside the box, a few nice volleys, but at the end of the day, he couldn't get the goal, but he still kept a very good performance. For a guy that didn't play in a long time, that wasn't really accustomed to, the playing style that Milan has shown in recent weeks, and to come into a game like that, not really expecting to play after a minute, it's quite a good sight to see. Now let's talk about Kuchka. He did okay today. He didn't do as good as other days. He did do some good movements going forward. He still contributed defensively and in that midfield. Definitely his physique and physical presence was seen. But like Montella said, at times he doesn't really know why Kuchka plays. And whether I could agree or disagree with that, I agree on the fact that his skills, his technical skills going forward are not always the best, but defensively, he's a guy that we must do with, and we cannot do without. So, moving forward, he showed a few things, he showed a few runs, maybe his passes could have been a bit better, but still, he has that physical, stable presence in the midfield. Matti Fernandez, on the other hand, what a surprise it was for him. I personally was questioning myself, why did Montella decide to play Matti Fernandez out of nowhere? Better yet, why start him? He proved every Milanista wrong today. I think he was the man of the match. One of the better players in this team, alongside Locatelli, in my opinion, today. He won a lot of balls, scored a beautiful goal in that first half to give Milan the only goal of the game and to give them the 3 points. Once again, personally, I wasn't expecting him to start ahead of Pasalic, but Montella saw something in the week that, pretty much decided that he should be the one to start. And I think he played his cards right, and we were rewarded with that beautiful goal from Matti Fernandez. Well played all around, hoping that he continues to play like this in the future. Moving on to the forwards, we saw Ocampos, Lapadula, and Deulofeu all start today. A lot of stake was given to Ocampos in the live stream watch along today regarding him moving forward. And I do agree, sometimes he doesn't make the best decisions going forward. Sometimes he lacks in that decision making and even finishing, because his finishing is pretty poor. However, we need to notice exactly some things that many people don't seem to care about or just don't seem to bother. And that is the contribution that both Ocampos and Deulofeu prove to show defensively. And every time defensively, whenever they're off the ball, the movements have been very, very good. They're contributing defensively, they're winning back balls, and they're reinitiating the attacks. That's exactly what I want from these wingers. Yes, they might not be the best in the finishing, and I agree that could pose some problems in the long run. But if these guys work like horses, defensively and offensively, mark my word, sooner or later, these guys will be rewarded. And we've seen it with Deulofeu. The guy has consistent performances week in and week out. He's capable of doing very, very good things on a weekly basis. He's capable of, getting past opponents with ease. He's capable of dribbling past them. His finishing needs to get a bit better, but he still gets the chances. Ocampos, it seems to be a little less of a faster process, way less of a faster process. It's something that he's still transitioning in at Milan, and I think with time, if we give them the appropriate time, he could develop into a better player. Lapadula, lots of chances today. It was his occasion to get, a message sent to Montella. It was his occasion to finally get some goals at Milan today. However, unfortunately, he was not capable of doing that. However, he did provide a very beautiful assist to Matty Fernandez. Really out of the ordinary for Lapadula with that beautiful flick on to Matty Fernandez. So that needs to be appreciated. Unfortunately, he wasn't capable enough to get the goal, but still created a lot of chances. And I have to say, I'm happy with his performance, even though I know that he's capable of better. I know that he's capable of more. That was my evaluation on today's team performance, the players' performances. Let me know if you guys think otherwise or if you guys want to add more to what I mentioned already. Overall, like I said, it's been a stable performance. It was a good performance. I really, really liked the team collectiveness today. And what I mean by that is that I enjoyed seeing Milan keeping the ball, moving it around, and not really get tired of keeping that possession. Oftentimes, we see Milan getting frustrated with themselves. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes, we see Milan keeping the ball, and whenever they see no option, they opt to find the quicker option. They opt to find a quick answer. They want to find an answer right away. Today was very much different. We kept the ball, moved it around a lot, and I really, really liked that. And also, we weren't lazy. We weren't lazy. We kept it moving until we found a perfect opening, until we found a man that was open, until we found a player that was capable of creating something else. This is the Milan I want to see. This is the Milan that keeps the possession, frustrates the opponents, involves themselves in very high pressing like we saw today, forcing the opposition to make mistakes. This is how you win games. This is how you win cultural games. This is how you win football games. This is the recipe for success. Milan need to master this recipe. Today we've seen it, but of course it's an inconsistent thing that we see at Milan. Some days we see it, sometimes we don't. Until they master that recipe, it's going to be a tough road ahead, but when they do, I can guarantee you that we'll see a much, much better Milan. So let's get into your comments, guys. Don't forget that you can also call us on Skype at Rossoneri TV. That is the username if you guys want to share your thoughts. You guys can call us there and voice your opinion. But let's get into your comments without further ado. Pix Flix Production says, shame about the Bertolacci injury. I've always had a soft spot for him. He had a flawless performance against Juve and he was just regaining his form. Huge letdown for him. It is a huge letdown, especially to get injured after a minute like that. It's not a very positive sight. And I do agree with you. In recent games, he's shown better things. Definitely better than what we've seen in previous years, but I was really happy with what Bertolacci showed. Unfortunate for him today, but other than that, I'm happy that Locatelli at least stepped in for the right things. Now we're getting a call in from Jeffrey, so let's see what he has to say. Hi Jeffrey, you're live on air. How are you?
I'm very happy today. We had a beautiful win today.
Yeah, beautiful 3 points. Really happy about that. Anything you wanted to add in terms of what you mentioned at halftime? Did you see something better in that second half or something out of the ordinary?
Uh, no, not really. It was just that to me in the second half that we weren't as fired up to
Okay.
score the second goal. It was like we could score, but if we don't concede, we'll still be happy with the one goal win.
Yeah,
That's the only criticism of the second half.
I mean, I could agree with that. I see sometimes, especially there was a spell, like I was mentioning before, in which we were moving the ball around a lot and keeping that possession, not really, creating chances up front. We kept the ball, and it seemed like Genoa wasn't even interested in regaining back the possession. And I could see your point in which we could maybe stop for a second and actually just keep the result as it is and not risk much more. But I also have to say that we got a lot of chances in that second half. Yes, we didn't put the ball in the back of the net, but we did get a lot of chances, and our finishing wasn't good enough. So whether or not we were content with that one goal lead could be an argument. But at the same time, I still think that we tried to get that second goal, but due to our lack of finishing, we weren't capable of getting it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see. I just actually think they had the same amount of chances in the as they had in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
which is about 7 in the first half to about 7 in the second half. It didn't. It was the same kind of a pattern. It's
Yeah.
just the first half they were definitely going for the first goal.
Yeah.
The second half was like, as long as if we don't score, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was just had that kind of mentality.
I,
I
I, I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. Sometimes it's like whenever we have a lead, we have to wait until the other team either equalizes until we, like, get fired up again to score another one. I see what you're saying. And honestly, going forward, I just hope that changes because, sometimes, yes, today against Genoa, one goal was enough. But against tougher opposition, one goal is often not the case because it will be very hard for us to keep a clean sheet. So, yeah, I could definitely see your point on that. Any other comments, Jeffrey?
uh the only thing that I have left is to ask you why can't why doesn't the Italian FA like look at all the horrendous mistakes that the Italian refs have made in the past few years and see what's wrong with them? Because I mean, you look at other leagues, the German leagues. Yes, there are plenty of mistakes, and there are several controversial calls, but they don't have as many. They don't have one or two a game. They might have one every 3 games or so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the inconsistency in the refing, we spoke about it before at halftime. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
been ridiculous. It's honestly unbelievable. Now it's a series of 3-4 games in which it's not only been calls against us, but also against the other teams. But it's just the inconsistency that is really bothering me on many levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. Changes need to be made. I don't know what it is. Maybe a reform. I don't know what it is. Better training for these referees. Maybe a better selection. Honestly, just to mention the punishment that was given there to Doveri and Massa from last game at Juventus, it was really a slap on the wrist just to assign them to a less important game as I don't know if they were goal line referees or something like that. Like, really, is that a punishment? I don't really see it as a punishment. And until there's maybe more severe punishments, or like I mentioned before, a reformation of these referees, better training, I don't think we're gonna see much difference. To be honest with you, Jeffrey.
I know. We're just gonna. There's got to be a major. I mean, a major decision that's just gonna blow up like the league, and they're gonna be forced to make a change. Why don't they make the
Hmm.
change now before you get that horrendous decision? Whether that be it's a foul and end someone's career, a young talent, and you just end his career because of some terrible attacker and he's broken his leg and he can't
Yeah.
play anymore or
Yeah.
something. You're gonna get that, and you could easily not have that by changing how the refs are taught or bringing in someone from a different league and telling them, hey, this is not what we do over in whatever league they're reffing in. This is what we do when we see this. You stop it then, and that kind of ends it.
Yeah, I mean, look, oftentimes, just to make a final remark regarding this, look, oftentimes I see there's even referees that give cards out way too fast. And that is
Yes.
something that I don't like. I understand that you need to allow the teams to play. I understand that. But when there's horrific challenges, like we saw, not only today, we saw it 2-3 times today, but it wasn't only the case today. I can recall a few bad challenges or bad decisions last game against Juventus. Even further, against Udinese, when DePaul made that horrific two-footed challenge from behind to the Shio, and it wasn't even sending off on that. You must be kidding me. You must be kidding me on all sorts of levels. It absolutely makes no sense. So it's not only pertaining to this game, but in general, the decision making has been awful. And yeah, these are things that you need to look at. You know, I could understand not yellow carding every single foul, because obviously that would ruin the game. But when there's horrific challenges like that, make the right decision. You don't want to end a player's career. You don't want to be unfair to the other team. If a horrific challenge is there, you have to book it. Or else the player will get away with it, and you know, he might as well do it in another game if it isn't in that game, because he's going to think once again, well, I got away with it that time, why not next game, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you for calling in, man.
All right, you have a good day now.
Same to you. Take care. A few more questions here in the comments. Tommy is actually asking me if the 6th place team goes to Europa League. It all really depends if the Coppa Italia winner has already qualified to the Champions League or the Europa League. This season, chances are that that will be the case, and that's because there's Juventus, Napoli, Roma, and Lazio left in the Coppa Italia, and all four are more than likely to qualify to the Champions League or Europa League, in my opinion. Well, Juventus, Napoli, and Roma for sure, Lazio most probably. So yeah, there's a very good chance that the 6th place will go to the Europa League playoffs as well. That's why. So it's very good that we did get this result today, so that we could momentarily pass Atalanta and cut the gap with Inter and Lazio. There's another call here coming from Jose Orilac. Let's see what he has to say. Hi, Jose. How are you, man?
Hi, Gio. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good as well. Always when Milan wins.
Always good. Yes, that's true. That's true.
It's beautiful. Okay, so Milan played very well. I mean, I said it before the game that the game was going to end 1-0. It ended 1-0, but I also said we were going to suffer.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Genoa did absolutely nothing on the. It was so embarrassing. Like we had all the bench was in the game. All the regular team that you see was not in the game. They embarrassed today, not by the scoreline, by how they played. So embarrassed to them. No chance whatsoever.
Yeah, I have to say that definitely today Genoa didn't pose many threats to us. I was actually surprised. Like I said at the beginning, I was surprised with the way they played today, because yes, I understand that the season has no more meaning to them. I understand that they have nothing to play for. But at the same time, you know, you're playing professional. You cannot just go into games like that and not really pose a threat. But yeah, Genoa had a few decent chances, very few. But to say about them being menacing or imposing many threats on us is a big lie, you know. So Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. I'm actually very, very surprised with how they played, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy. I'm happy with the result. I'm happy that we got the win because that's what counts.
Yeah, Montella is using a tactic that I think that everybody can see it, and that is possession. That is just winning 1-0. Sometimes, I mean, we saw it against Sassuolo as well. We scored the goal and we just parked the bus the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, that is what Montella. And I don't know, it's too risky, but it's working. It's working, and I'm good with that. If the tactic you're using is winning you games, change it. You know.
Mm. Yeah, I'm happy. Like you said, there are Montella's doing good things. I'm happy that he's actually, you know, a risk taker a bit at times, and you know, sometimes risks, high risks, is what gives you the high rewards, right? So, like what we saw with Matthew Fernandez, I wasn't expecting him to have such a good game today, but
Mm.
he proved us wrong. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, these are little things that we need to have in our games as well, rather than just the certainties. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. Anything else you wanted to
Yeah,
add?
I mean, team performance very well. Team performance very well. La Padula just see nothing from him. I don't know if you see something from him from the rest of the season now. I really think that Baca showed us in these few games
Yeah,
that he is the one that should be
yeah,
starting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and everybody in here in Rossoneri TV was saying doing or even callers that saying that he should leave the team. He's doing nothing. After this game, nobody's questioning. I mean, it was just we just hated back at that moment.
Yeah,
Just to analyze that, we just
yeah,
loved Lapadula because he won us games. But really, when you take a closer look at the situation as a neutral fan, you will clearly say back at 100%.
yeah. That's the thing. Like I said the other game, you know, Baca has scored like what 4 goals in the last 3 games before getting suspended. So yeah, I think he definitely regained his position, his starting spot, and Lapadula is gonna be that great substitution that we always used to have at the beginning of the season,
Yes.
and that's the type of player that he's gonna be. That's all. That's definitely it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Jose. Thank you for calling in, man, and sharing your thoughts.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Just a few more comments from you guys in the live chats. Diaco says, "I'm happy with the win. I saw the Curva Sud banner about wanting transparency. What is your take on it?" All right, so I already spoke about this several times today and yesterday concerning the Chinese takeover. I did say that I wouldn't mention anything more regarding the situation because it's always the same repetition. Is the Chinese money coming in? I don't know. Berlusconi doesn't even know. What do you guys want me to know? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not the guy that is gonna know exactly these details, and all I can give you is what the reports are mentioning. You know, if Berlusconi is saying something, that's the information I want to give you, and that's exactly why I'm gonna refrain myself from mentioning over and over again the same comments, the same repetitions from these reports. If a particular report says the closing is being done tomorrow, and another report saying the closing is being done tomorrow, and tomorrow arrives and they say no, it's being postponed for next week, what's the point of me talking about the issue? This is something that's been going over and over again more than a year now. Like, it's something that I'm fed up with. It's something that you're fed up with. But I think the least we talk about it, the better it's going to be for us and our health. Because really, that's the problem at the moment. So it's absolutely stupid to speak about these things at the moment, because whether or not I think that they will be bringing in the funds or not, I said it over and over again. The funds will probably arrive. When? I don't know. If they will arrive, I don't know. But that's the case at the beginning. That's the case at the time right now. That's what we know. That's all we know. I cannot say much more. That's all we know. Berlusconi doesn't even know what's happening. So what are we supposed to know? That's my point. So that's it. That's pretty much the situation I see at the moment. But the banner regarding the Curva Sud, to get back to your question there, Diaco, regarding the transparency, definitely. It's something that the fans need to know. Milan needs to be a transparent club, and what we mean by transparent is that the club, the staff, the management, the Chinese, whatever it is, need to say the truth 100% of the time to the fans. The fans deserve the right to know what is happening exactly in terms of the sale, in terms of the Chinese takeover. They need to know exactly what's happening, because even though we don't know what's happening, even though, you know, they don't know what's happening, I think the best thing to say is that we all know what's happening. Instead of saying, oh, it's happening next week, then next week arrives, nothing happens. That's my take on it. That's what I mean about transparency. That's what I mean about knowing exactly what's happening. Even though it's not something that we want to hear, I think we deserve to know exactly what's happening. I think we deserve to know exactly what the intentions are of the Chinese and Milan. Point final, that's my take on the Chinese takeover. I'm not going to be speaking about it anymore until there's official confirmations regarding money coming in or the official sale of the club. I am done with the story. There's too many rumors, there's too many reports considering it. So I'm sorry for you guys, but I'm not going to keep repeating over and over and over again the same things every video. Just a few more questions. Daniel says Lapadula needs to start more games. He could develop into a gun if he gets a chance. Yes, but with Baka being there scoring goals now, I don't think that's going to happen. Why didn't we start with Locatelli? He really gave the midfield balance today when he came on. Montella said that he wasn't 100% fit yet in order to play full 90 minutes a day. But at the end of the day, he still did it. And he still didn't have any problems. So maybe he's actually fully recovered now. Pixflix Production says, I'll be 100 years old and there'll still be updates that the Chinese will close the deal by next week. That's exactly my point. It's enough with me saying over and over again what's happening with this closing, because it's honestly a mess. It's a big mess and a big embarrassment to the club and all the fans, because the fans are not even knowing exactly what's happening, and I think we should be the first ones to know. Kyle says, Gio, a little off topic, but you always mentioned that until Milan sign a creative, talented midfielder, the team won't go anywhere. Who was our last great midfielder in your opinion? Please answer. Well, Pirlo was definitely one of the main ones that I could think of. The guy was amazing. He always was the main creator there. So yeah, I would definitely have to go with Pirlo. Such a great influence. And in the last 5 to 6 years, we really didn't have a guy that fully replaced Pirlo, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my take on it. Pato says, what do you think about Mati Fernandez today? Already mentioned it before. I said that he had a very, very good game, and I'm very happy that he got his goal. And I'm happy that, you know, Montella took the decision to actually field him. And, you know, based on what he saw all week round, he gave him that opportunity. He used that opportunity. He took his chance. And now, you know, Montella needs to evaluate whether or not he can be playing in the succeeding matches. So that's going to wrap it up, guys, for this match review. Once again, thank you all for joining me today on the live stream watch along and on the match review. Really appreciate it. Once again, the final scoreline is AC Milan 1, Genoa 0, and the goal scorer was Mati Fernandez. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan. And I'll catch you guys later for another video. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.